Hello, everyone. This is Moncef Afkir, and thank you so much for joining me in this new group session. So as I mentioned, it will be a 30 minutes group healing session, and I will just give maybe a short introduction for those of you who are new to this. So what happens is that I call in other light beings. That's I already feel their presence here, and then there will be some themes that's I talk about briefly, and then I stay silent for a few minutes where I hold the space for everyone, and which really allows to with the collaboration of the light beings with us to transmute or shift anything that is related to the theme, or anything that's need to maybe an upgrade, maybe a shift, and it can be very personal to each and every one of you. So the experience can be different. And from your end, you don't need to do anything. You just need to be present. And also, when I stay silent, you can contemplate that theme in your personal life. If you can see those patterns or how it is manifested in your life. And also, if it's okay if sometime you find yourself maybe your thoughts going away, thinking about something else, it's okay. From time to time, I ask you to take a deep breath, and then it can maybe help you to come back to this present moment. And so yeah, this is how it works. And let's start. So first, take 3 deep breaths. Inhale deeply through your nose, then exhale through your mouth. And I will stay silent so you can do the breathing at your own pace. And now I invite our higher selves, our spirit guides, and I feel more the Pleiadians being here with us today. So the main theme today is about feeling more at ease when we show up as our true self, when we share our light, when we follow our guidance, we speak our truth. Because when we do that, when we start following our hearts, at some points, especially in the beginning, we can experience some discomfort. And this can be because of many causes. It depends on the person, their path, and the traumas. And like the first example that we will touch today is about sharing our gifts and sharing our message, or it's not necessary that it can be in spirituality, but our gifts can relate it in to any area of life. And one of the things that can bring discomforts when we do that is setting very high expectations when we start sharing our gifts. Take a deep breath. And sometimes we believe that what I mean by very high expectations is that right away when we start the first step, like things should manifest in a certain way, and or everyone should agree with us, or everyone will receive our message, or the things that we are creating and sharing with others. And when we have those very high expectations that things should work like from the beginning, and it can work, it just when we how to say, we don't allow ourselves to just start, to just flow, and to just take one step at a time without having so much pressure on us on how things will unfold. Take a deep breath. Because when we put so much pressure on ourselves, it's, how to say, we fall into trying to make things perfect. And like the beauty of life is nothing is perfect. Like the perfection of life is that nothing is perfect. And then we can never reach that perfection that we think we should show up with. Take a deep breath. And then we start postponing. We may think we are not ready, or maybe we are afraid of how other people will receive us, or if they will judge us, or even if they will listen to us, or maybe make time for us so they can receive what we are here to share. Take a deep breath. And I'm not saying here that the first steps never works. It's, our paths are different, and some people it works really fast, some others it takes time. And like the message that I want to, or the idea that I want to share is that like the beginning, it's more about connecting more and more to who we are, to feel more comfortable to show up as we are without trying to fit in or to adapt so others can maybe some will agree now, others later on as they feel more and more open. They have their hearts more open to what we are sharing. Take a deep breath. And when we release those high expectations, or that pressure that we put on ourselves, it really brings more, how to say, more ease to that process, like taking those steps. Maybe in the beginning it won't be easy, but it's more we can afford taking those steps. We can keep moving forward. We can keep showing up even though we feel discomfort. Like we don't give up or wait until we feel maybe we are ready or something like that. Take a deep breath. And also this helps us to learn to see the bigger picture as we walk our path. We don't need to have all the clarity from the beginning. And many times we need to have certain experiences so we can become more aware of how to approach certain things, or maybe things that we will need we will be asked to create. We need some kind of learning process and training through experiences. And I want to give an example. Is like when I started 10 years ago, I didn't have Your Divine Uniqueness at that time. I started with the podcast, and because one of the main themes in this lifetime that I have is self-worth and self-judgments. And at that time, in the first beginning, it was really difficult to even listen to my voice. I needed to edit the interviews I did to start the podcast, and I couldn't do that. So what I did, I recorded again the questions that I asked the speakers, and then I just published them. But it was very uncomfortable for me, but I kept showing up at that time. It was, how to say, it was more like a learning process. It was not how things will show up or how things will manifest. It was more, how to say, like holding the space for those traumas that I had. And because as we step into our truth, we share our lights, like those traumas will come to the surface. And so that was a process for me to go through, and also a learning process. And if I didn't went through that, it would be really, really difficult for me to do a live show like Your Divine Uniqueness. And yeah, so I kept showing up, and I felt guided. I had the idea of Your Divine Uniqueness, and I was really excited about it, and I followed that. So yeah, take a deep breath. Martin, no, I was 28. And now I will stay silent for a few minutes, holding the space. You can contemplate that aspect in your life, if it is showing up in your life. And also the beings with us will be supporting you, and in anything that we need to be transmuted or shift regarding that. So take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And also showing up, showing our truth can also be experienced when we take a new path that is new for us, and also maybe it's also unfamiliar for people around us. Maybe something that triggers within them fear, or maybe it brings triggers that's things that they give up on, and when they see that, it's, how to say, because many times not just others, but us also, we may experience like a very strong fear towards something, and we give up on that, and we try to avoid anything that is related to that. But when someone bring that to the surface, we see that in them, they reflect that, it really can trigger that fear back. And this is what happened when we feel resistance from others, when we take a different path. Take a deep breath. And also because when we walk our unique path, many times what we see and what we believe, others, they don't see that, and they don't understand it. Because we have different perspective about life and about things in general. So in the beginning, many times it's impossible for them to understand us. And then this brings some resistance within us, because we want others to support us. We want others to be with us in our path, because we feel this is very important to us. And sometimes we may feel disappointed because, as you say, we need that kind of support. Take a deep breath. And then what is important is learning how to feel more comfortable and without having others agree with our path or with our choices. It's more allowing and giving more time for them to understand that. And this is not about waiting for them, but it's more about keeping moving forward and feeling more comfortable just at some point, if we find ourselves the only one to believe in our path. Take a deep breath. And also it's important to be gentle with yourself during that time, because maybe you will find yourself being rebellious and maybe wanting to fight with others or having some agreements. Because many times we hear that we should be in our heart and we should be in our center. We try to create from that space from that state of being, which is true, but also it's a process. It's something that we go to that state of being or to that space with practice, with time. And if we find ourselves out of that space, it's okay. It's more about reminding ourselves that we do the best we can. And at some point, like with time and with experience, we realize that, as you say, we have enough energy within us that it's okay if others don't agree with us. Take a deep breath. And at some point in your path, you will realize that without effort, without trying to change others, you will see some being inspired to do the same, to follow their heart, to follow their unique path, and have more courage to do that. Because you've been an example for them. And then you realize that, yeah, it's not about being the same, having the same beliefs, or taking the same path. Can be very different, but at the same time, we can support each other and share love with each other. Take a deep breath. And I will stay silent for a minute and holding the space along with the Pleiadians. And then I will be back. Take a deep breath. And also another thing that's may cause some discomfort to all of us currently, because so many things are changing in our personal life and also collectively, and it's very, how to say, it's not small things, but it's something, it's really loud, like so many things that's, how to say, it makes us some, we don't feel stable anymore, especially that's maybe the way we lived we used to live our life, the way we created, the way we exchanged with others. Maybe everything will change at some point, and it will happen at some points, maybe gradually, maybe fast. We don't know exactly how, but the change is happening, and this cause that feeling of trying just to survive, and this creates so much fear and discomfort, because it's something new that's we are not used to. We don't know how to approach that, and because we believe that we need to know in advance how to create, how to navigate those times in advance, so to feel comfortable. Take a deep breath. And what happens within us is sometimes we create so much resistance toward the new, and we try to keep what is known, where we feel safe. We try to keep it as much as we can, and instead of trying to maybe learning about how can we create in during this shift, or maybe building more flexibility, because during these times we really need to be more flexible, the way we create things, the way we live our life, and also at the same time coming back to the now moments. And like I shared in the beginning, we don't need to know the big picture in advance. We don't need to know all the steps. It's more about taking one step at a time. And take a deep breath. And also becoming more aware of the support that is there for us. Because we are being guided in every step. There's support. We can ask for guidance from our higher self team, from people around us who have more experience. But it's when we, how to say, when we are in that survival mode, it becomes difficult for us to become aware of the messages that we receive, the guidance that we receive. Take a deep breath. And also because we have desires, we have dreams that we want to create, and the way we imagined how we will create them, it's based on how things used to be. And then when we see the change happening, or we see that it may happen, then we think that we can no longer create those dreams and desires that we wanted. Take a deep breath. Yes, again, it's more about having more flexibility, and also believing that we will receive what we desire, because this is, how to say, it's more about learning to create what we want, instead of, even though the environment around us feels, how to say, maybe so uncomfortable, maybe changing so fast, or maybe not showing up the way we want to. It's more about embracing our mastery, and remembering that we are more powerful than the environment, than what is happening, and that we are creators of our reality. Take a deep breath. And also, as we say, when we see others having maybe a challenging experience, the mind starts maybe believing that this is something that may happen to us. Because we need to remember that everyone, they create their life based on their beliefs, based on maybe the themes that they are here to experience. So we can live in the same place, but we can have very, very different experience, one from the other. So it's more about also, it's a practice, it takes time. It's more about trusting and feeling more independent in what we create. And also, like I said, when we take an unfamiliar path, it's more, at some point we will become more like an example because we had the courage to follow our heart. So instead of being affected by others, like sharing our light and giving the example that we can have, create what we want, even though the outer world shows that maybe it's impossible, or it's very difficult, at least. Take a deep breath. And maybe I will give an example. I don't talk, maybe I didn't talk about that in the past, but like the past 3 years, it was really challenging. I had also challenges and it wasn't easy, but for me, when I see all the years that I lived so far here, like for me, they were really the best 3 years I lived because of the experiences that I had, the opportunities I had. I've seen many places, new people, and also it was more like, how to say, feeling guided at each time when to move and where and exactly where, and it ended up being better than I expected. And I'm sharing that just to say that even there can be a chaos happening around us, we still can have experience life in a very different way. Yeah, take a deep breath. And I will stay silent for a minute and just holding the space along with the Pleiadians. And yeah, so they will work with each and every one of you on when you need, in the things that you need exactly related to that. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. And yeah, so thank you very much for co-creating with all of us this experience today. I thank our higher selves, our spirit guides, the Pleiadians also. And now I invite every one of us to be back to their own energy field. And I hope this session served you. And also I want to share that I will be on a Lara Canfield show in 2 weeks, I think, in June 8th. And yeah, this is the second time I will be interviewed by her on her show. And I would love if you can join us there. I really love the energy that she holds and the way she creates. I really feel so much authenticity and love in what she creates. And I see that in the interviews she does and the healing work she does, and also in my connection that I had with her several times before. Yeah, and yeah, I would love if you can join us. I will put the link is yourdivineuniqueness.com/MNC, yourdivineuniqueness.com/MNC, and it will redirect you to her own websites. So I will write it. So yeah, it is on the chat box. And yeah, so thank you, everyone. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, I'm really glad it served you.
Thank you.
Hailey.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Moncef.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Blessings.
you,
Oh.
Yeah. Thank you to all. And I will see you on the next time.